So from the MGM Grand of Las Vegas, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! It's time!
Guys, I thought, I don't know if you people saw this. I think it was an interview Carlton Cole had.
Carlton
a couple
Cole.
of days ago. Yeah, Carlton Cole.
The big, burly English striker, black guy.
Yeah. He played for a couple of teams. He played for West Ham and some other English teams. Yeah, you know, he had a few England call-ups and he was just recounting his experience with England when in his first call-up, when he was, I think they were going out for like a training session or something and he had forgotten to take his vitamins.
Now, vitamins are the training. Vitamins are creatine.
And they just so apparently it was evident, and then a couple of players asked him, and he was like, "Oh, he forgot his vitamins," and they offered to give him some, and it was Rooney, Jermaine Defoe, and they gave him a blue pill. Unbeknownst to him, I don't know whether he doesn't know what his vitamin pills colors are like, but for some reason he decided to trust his teammates on their first call-up. Let us find out as we go along.
To your man Ghana.
Yes, the expert is talking.
So apparently,
Ghana, tell us.
After they gave him the pill, he took the pill, and then when they got to the training ground, they were about to get onto the pitch to train, he started feeling a certain way. He wasn't too sure until he was on the pitch and he realized that the blue pill was not vitamins, but it was essentially Viagra. So he was hard as hell on the pitch.
With 3 legs.
And he said, and the funny thing was, he said he realized that what do you call it? He found at least one positive in it because that was one of his best training because he was training with 3 legs. And he was really quick that day.
That third leg was actually massive. It was a big boost for him.
Like that is absolutely safe.
The stronger leg. The secret stronger leg.
But that must have been absolutely embarrassing for him.
I have like 3 questions. First of all, who passed him the pill? We said Rooney and Jermaine Defoe.
Yeah.
That leads me to my next question. Why the hell would you have those blue pills on your way to training? Why?
You are the same person that said the footballers, they've been living their life. They've been...
Yeah, live your life.
Yeah.
Live the
so
time
it's all part of the life.
No,
it's
but why the hell would you have blue pills on your way to training? And then Rooney at the time Rooney was a teenager or probably in his early 20s. Why the hell did he need blue pills at that time?
You want to perform on and off the pitch, and after training you are tired.
Again,
you need assistance.
At that age, why do you need that? Because you have all the testosterone going around in your body.
After
you train
training,
so well.
You are tired. You need assistance. And we know Rooney is a hard trainer.
Now train. Galvin.
Did he? Now, what these guys are doing? What are these guys trying to do?
See,
but it would have been absolutely embarrassing for him. It's actually a quite funny thing. It's funny, embarrassing, and I mean, it's not the best thing to do to your teammates, especially a first call-up.
No, but also, why do you need vitamins before you train?
Oh, he wants to build the body, make sure that he's not lacking in any way, shape.
What are you building? Like, vitamins are supplements. So at that point...
Peak male physical condition. He's trying to put himself in the peak male physical condition.
It serves him right. Why didn't he start taking the blue pill every time he had a game? Because he trained so well. Why didn't he decide to play with 3 legs?
I think that would be against the doping rules.
Man Ghana with exclusive details. Man 99.
My friend.
Kelvin. What's happening in Ghana? Apparently, if you eat chicken, you can't eat fish.
Charlie, it's a total mess at the African Senior Athletics Championship. It's crazy, and it's the most disappointing news ever. Disappointing story ever. Why are you people
so disgraceful? Why is Ghanaian sports so disgraceful? Like, I just don't get it. Because this is off the back of that All African Games where we had literally we said we spent $200 million on organizing the All African Games, and on the podium we couldn't. They had written the finishing on A4 paper and then pasted it on the podium. And after that debacle and fans crying out and people essentially calling them out before they changed all of that, you come back for to host another games, and you also find something else to be petty about. Now you're not going to give the athletes a full meal because
you see, and it's quite strange, eh? The most painful part is we agreed to host this. So when the likes of Kenya, Botswana, Botswana decided to host this, and they hosted the World Championship Relay, World Relays Championship. And everyone was like, come on, why would Ghana accept this when we're not ready? So now the whole point of Didi was because,
Governor in Ghana, ready or not, if there's an opportunity to host a competition, you go and take it because it's a procurement gig. People will make generational wealth from this.
But you know the funny thing for me?
Tell me.
When they said they weren't getting fish or whatever it is, it just reminded me of
you can't take more than one egg.
It just reminded me of the commercial food vendors. How are you buying? You are buying kinky and fish. You don't. You're buying kinky and pepper. You don't want to buy what do you call it, fish. So we only give
this is very typical in Ghana. You see those who are given contracts to come and share food. When they come when it's a buffet, you decide to go and then they tell you what to the amount to take and the amount not to take, what to fish, whether you take fish, you don't take chicken. You see that kind of people. I don't know if you've been to an event or a wedding and then they tell you what to do. So it's become a norm here. But
no, it's become norm in Ghana.
Yes, whether fortunately or unfortunately, they met a case out of someone who can eat close to about 15 eggs a day. Because yes, he needs to burn the energy.
Exactly, and you tell of the world. You tell me you don't have eggs.
Yes, and you tell him you should be taking one. Now the problem is, Didi, the entire problem is, this games was accepted by government to host it. They agreed. They agreed to the budget, which was 40 million Ghana cedis. Can you imagine at the start of the event, even the opening ceremony, not even a single cedi had been released.
Interesting.
Not even a single cedi.
So we'll go pre-finance and then we'll pay you later. That's what they are essentially telling the organizers.
And it was crazy. How do you this is essentially, if it was football, it would have been an AFCON.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
the reason why the likes of Esile Tebo and the likes, they decided not to come because he saw this.
Oh yeah, they knew it was going to be a shit show.
Yes, in Douala. And he said, come on, there is the Diamond League this weekend in Shanghai. Why would I come and mess up myself here in Ghana? The reason why I did not come, and let me tell you, there are lots of things that they haven't paid people for. And they had to take the outburst of media for things to start progressing. How is it that we finish races and athletes cannot know their times that they finish the races?
I saw a video of athletes converging around, screen.
So that was yesterday. That was yesterday. Yes, the Ghanaian contingent, after they finished the race, the photo, they had to just look at the video to see because they were complaining. Joe Paul thought he had placed third. And then, they had been given unfairly to the Nigerian. But lo and behold, we went back to look at it and they said, no, the photo finish showed. Meanwhile, there is a photo finish device there.
So what is the point of all of the infrastructure we've built for sporting activity? Like,
we are not willing to take sports.
I don't think the problem is with the infrastructure.
It's not with the infrastructure.
It's with the organization.
It's with the hierarchy.
Yeah, but if you build an athletics, an athletics oval or whatever it is that you are going to compete in, all of these things are part of the things that you need to have there. So
the things were present too. They just weren't working. That's what I'm saying. It's not about the infrastructure. It's about the organization. They didn't do any go live readiness assessment. They didn't do any tests. Nothing. Even the publicity around the event was so poor. I think a day or two before the game started, journalists were scrambling over their accreditation of some sort. No publicity, nothing. That's why the entire arena was empty.
Yes, yes, can you have any pre-many?
Ah, well.
Pre-man where they were sent.
COVID.
And Didi, it was quite strange, but
it's a complete shit show.
How do you work at an international tournament without Wi-Fi?
Oh my!
That is crazy. When we all travel, when you travel to a different country, the first thing you look for is what? Wi-Fi before you even get a new SIM.
Right.
How is it that these are foreigners? You need to facilitate their work, and we're not getting it.
I don't even know why we are even surprised. Like, we did, even in the tournament, we said we spent 200 million. Look at what we did.
No, sir, we are trying to live healthily. One chicken, one fish, no chicken, no fish. Simple.
Yes,
one
we
egg.
are trying to keep them lean. You know, we don't want them to get fat. Lean.
Guys, what do you have for us this week?
Guys, welcome. It's been a wonderful, time last week, and this week is going to serve us some lots of goodies. It's going to be exciting. Welcome to the 50-50 Football Podcast. Yes, the show that gives you a lot more. We are lacing up our boots for a final finish to the season, and it's not rosy all out at Real Madrid. Kylian Mbappé comes onto the pitch. He's booed, but he gives an assist after his injury, missing the El Clasico. He's back on the pitch. Florentino Perez lashes out at the media, and he's given lots of, side punches that many will call as the big man, not really cool with what is happening at Real Madrid. And it looks like a swipe has been taken at Vinicius Jr. But let's see. Wembley is calling, and two of England's best clubs are answering with everything. They have a trophy that could define a season and a rivalry that never needed any more fuel. And there's a lot to talk about. And when the dust settles on the Premier League season, who will be the real difference makers? The PFA has its answers, and we've got opinions on all of them. You are logged in, and we are ready to get going. Let's get going. My name is Kelvin Osu, as I'm doing this with Kweku Safomenta and Nana Sarimangana. Gentlemen, Charlie, it was quite an okay weekend for some, but Real Madrid once again in tatters. I think it would be best if we start from them. The El Clasico, they lost it and Barca won. But this evening, Kylian Mbappé was welcomed, with booze. It wasn't quite an interesting spectacle, but he didn't care. He provided us an assist, for his favorite, man, who many think that is the reason why Mbappé is being booed, Vinny Jr., to get his name on the score sheet. But, how did you find Florentino Perez and his outburst? Starting from you, Kweku.
Kelvin, certain things happen and you realize, there's trouble, right? This we don't often see Florentino Perez speaking to the press. Most of the time we see him in the VIP box. We see him when he's there's a new player and he needs to present the new player to the Bernabeu. We don't see him speak often. In fact, this is that press conference that we witnessed was his first press conference in 11 years. 11 years. It doesn't happen often. Florentino Perez doesn't speak often. And so when he comes out to speak, you realize, okay, well, there's an issue, right? And he hit on so many things. And I think the main thing was to deflect pressure off of the players and everything that's happening on the field and put the pressure on himself. He wants to come out and deflect pressure, give the players that peace of mind. And then the sporting structure would continue to go on and take up every single bit of the attention. Because he comes out and he basically calls for an election. That's essentially what he did. He says, you know what, my detractors are after me. I'm calling an election. Election wasn't supposed to be for the next 3 years. He had a full runway for the next 3 years. And so even the purported Jose Mourinho signing was supposed to be a 2-year signing because Jose Mourinho will essentially join them for the 2026, 2027 season, 2027, 2028 season, after which there will be fresh elections at the Bernabeu. But now he calls for an election. He talks about the Negreira case and essentially says that, listen, this is the biggest scandal in football. Barcelona have been paying referees for the last 20 years. And he says, per his calculation, he should win at least 7 more La Liga titles over the 26-year period that he has been Real Madrid president. Part 1 and part 2. And so he says, listen, I've won 7 Champions Leagues. I've won 6 Champions Leagues over the 2 periods. I've won 7 La Ligas. And had it not been for the Negreira case, I'll probably have 14 La Ligas in the 26-year period. And so, listen, it's also a lesson to us as individuals that no matter what you do, no matter how well you do it, you will always have detractors. For me, I couldn't believe that people rose up against Florentino Perez and said he had to leave. because for the last 2 seasons, Madrid haven't won trophies. And I was like, it's just 2 seasons. I do understand that it's Real Madrid is the biggest club in the world, the biggest perhaps sporting brand in the world. I know the Texas Cowboys would differ, but it's Real Madrid anyway. They have had the best players, almost every decade at every point in time. And so I do understand the uneasiness with the fans. However, to call for perhaps the greatest ever football chairman to move away greatest ever football chairman in the modern era, to basically step aside just because the last 2 seasons things haven't gone well, I think it's problematic. It's quite problematic. And so he's called for fresh elections. The criteria is quite steep to even put your name on the ballot. You should have been a socio for the last 20 years. You should be able to constitute a board of individuals with certain credentials. You should be able to guarantee at least 15% of Real Madrid's budget for the year with your own money. And don't forget, Florentino Perez is a billionaire. For those who don't know, he's a construction tycoon. So most of the big European construction contracts goes to him. He also works a lot in the South American regions as well. So he's a big man. Don Florentino Perez is a really, really big man. And he's called for fresh elections. I think the whole idea was to come out and proclaim that, everything is all me. The buck ends with me. Blame me. Don't blame the players. And I strongly believe that once he believes he can win the election, that's why he's called for it, because it would be totally insane to call for an election when you think there are chances for you to lose. I think he's done his work. He knows he's a politician. Let's not forget about it. You can't be Real Madrid chairman and not be a politician. He's done his work. He knows very well that once he goes to election, he will win the election. So let's wait and see what's going to happen. My only wish, for my own biases and for my own sake, that this does not in any way affect the imminent arrival of Jose Mourinho at Real Madrid.
Well, I knew some way somehow he was going to get Mourinho in there.
Obviously, yes.
Water is always wet, isn't it?
Exactly.
In fact, he made the categorical statement. He didn't even need to mention Mourinho's name, but Florentino Perez himself made a statement about Mourinho. Mind you, Mourinho is the Benfica coach. He's not Real Madrid coach. He said, Mourinho is one of us. He made us competitive once again. And after the foundations he laid for us, we went on to win 6 Champions League titles in 10 years. So he recognizes the sort of foundation and the impact Jose had on Real Madrid. Let's not forget that Real Madrid hadn't gone past the round of 16 for God knows how long, and he made them competitive once again. They played in the semi-finals of the Champions League on 3 consecutive occasions. They lost the first one to an imperious Barcelona side, and Messi magic actually separated them. And I would never forget that goal. Messi took that ball from Sergio Busquets at the center of the pitch and drove through the center of defense. And I always blame Raul Albiol for basically just opening himself up for Messi to drive past him. I thought he could have made a foul, but it spilled milk anyway. The second one, they lost on penalties to Bayern Munich. Let's not forget that. Of the best penalty takers in the world at the time played for Real Madrid. It was Sergio Ramos Garcia, it was Kaká and Ronaldo. They all missed. And then the third one goal margin. They lost to Borussia Dortmund. And so you can say sheer luck, you can call it whatever it is, but he made them competitive once again. And the most important thing is that the Real Madridistas remember, they know, and they will never forget. And they await with open arms the return of the great Jose Mourinho Felix dos Santos.
Anyway, I'm not going to dwell on the Mourinho aspect.
Sorry, I don't want you to even dwell there. Yeah. But Mbappé is being booed. How did this go so bad?
I want to speak a bit on the Florentino Perez side, then I'll get into the Mbappé news. So
that's fine. Go ahead.
I don't agree with Kweku's assertion that he was trying to move the spotlight off the players. Like listening to the interview and him calling for those elections, that is where I side with Kweku when he says that he feels he can win the elections. But the nuance that I want to bring in there is that I believe that some people are taking advantage of the turmoil in the dressing room and all of that to work behind the scenes to try and gather the support that they would need to challenge Florentino Perez. And he has now got wind of that and realizes that, no, I cannot let this happen. So him coming out to do that press conference and calling for an election is mostly because I think he knows he has the numbers now, and if he should allow it to delay and these things continue and Madrid is not able to win for the next year or two, whoever is trying to garner that support with the current board will have the votes when the time gets there. So he's calling for an election now so that he can quash all of those things immediately and essentially get his tenure extended. So that is how I see that playing out. Now, for when it comes to Mbappé getting booed when he came onto the pitch, one thing about football fans is football fans are fickle. Like, it's all about winning. The moment Mbappé comes in and starts scoring goals again and starts creating opportunities for his teammates and then Madrid starts winning, they forget about it. It's just that in the moment, they are in a bad moment. And like I said previously in last week, once you are in a certain moment and then the team is not winning and things are not going well, there's always the person that is considered the poster boy of the club or who is considered the face of the club or who, because of his wages or how the person came in, there are more expectations on that player. And hence, that is who the fans will take their anger out on. So I just think that is essentially what the fans are doing. And if Madrid can gather themselves and get themselves back onto a sure foot, which unfortunately they can't because the season is almost over. But into next season, if Mbappé gets the players go and have a good World Cup and they come back and gather themselves together, make sure that they have squashed all the turmoil in the dressing room and then start on the front foot and start winning games, the fans will come around.
The fans could come around, but where do Madrid go on from here? Kylian Mbappé decided to get to the mix zone today after the game.
He had to show leadership, right? He had to show leadership.
Yeah, he's gone to the mix zone. He's going to speak.
Yeah, I mean, no matter how you see it, he's the face of the project. He's the face of the project. It's not Vinicius, it's him. The earlier people accept this, the better. He's the face of the project. And so he has to show leadership. He has to come out and say, you know what, I'm here to answer questions, right? And Madrid they have lacked that leadership. And we've said it several occasions on this pod. They've lacked that leadership. But the good thing is that before he went out to the mixed zone to speak, Florentino Perez had already come out to basically deflect a lot of attention to himself. And so a lot of the conversation this week had been on Florentino Perez. And let's not forget, I also think it's a political ploy by Florentino Perez to push Mbappé to go out there to speak. Mbappé made a statement. He said, Florentino Perez is the best president in the world. We are lucky to have him, and we should never forget what he's done for Real Madrid. The man has called for elections. I told you, he's a politician. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. And so let's not forget that at all. Let's not forget that at all. And Mbappé was also asked about the Tchouaméni fight, and he said he wasn't there. He had already left the training ground, and he doesn't know what happened. And so, again, he's really out there, first of all, to also open himself up to scrutiny, tell people that, listen, I'm here, I'm the leader of the squad. By leader, I'm saying he's the poster boy of the squad. And also it's, again, a political tool for Florentino Perez himself. His guy, the man, the person he fought for 3 years to bring to the club is also out there fighting for him to stay as president of Real Madrid. And so I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised at all. A lot of people are saying he's the bad nut, he's done this. We've said it time and again, and Mangana said it, explicitly the last time. Mbappé is doing everything he's supposed to do. If you look at it critically, the other players have rather lost form. And from my perspective, I think it's not just about a form loss. I think it's also a lack of motivation by the other players as well. They've won everything, and most of them are not motivated to actually go the extra mile. And we've seen it, the drop in performances by a lot of these players. We've seen it. You look at the role that Mbappé is playing for the team. He's basically playing the role that Rodrigo used to play. And Rodrigo and Vinicius love to move down to the left, right? So that lack of motivation is there. They've been unlucky with injuries as well. And then key personnel and profile that they didn't replace in the club has caused them. And hopefully they can bounce back next season.
Hopefully they can bounce back next season. But a little bit away, let's quickly move on and then get into some more discussions, a little more on others. And it's time for, a big one at the Wembley. It's a big one. Wembley is calling, and two of England's biggest clubs are answering. It's a big one. Manchester City, a double it will be for them. And for Chelsea, it could rewrite the script and it would change, how the season has actually gone and push them towards a better second, season under, the Todd Bailey group. But Kako, it's a big one. Let me start from you, Asari. How do you see this game? Who do you think is winning? And only one of them would walk away with that silverware, the most prestigious trophy, they say, and oldest trophy in England.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that for a final, it just doesn't feel that consequential. And I think mostly it's because of how poor Chelsea have been. So I don't think anyone thinks or sees that there's an opportunity for Chelsea to win the trophy. Everyone might probably think it's a foregone conclusion for Man City to win it. And also, I'm thinking Pep Guardiola, like I've said, I think he's going to end his season with Manchester City this season, and he would have loved to have taken the Premier League title to have ended on that note, and maybe losing it might get him to stay another year. But it doesn't seem very consequential. Chelsea should have a lot of reason to want to win this. I don't know what the players are feeling in the moment, but if I were them, they should have a lot of reason to win this, in the sense that they are so far down the league table that they need to get into Europe. Their financial state at this point is poor, that they need the money from Europe. And it seems their easiest way to get into Europe this time around would be to win the FA Cup, and that would guarantee them a Europa League spot. So I feel like that should be motivation enough for the players. It should be motivation enough for the coach. And it should be motivation enough for the whole club in its entirety to tell the players, look, we need this money to stay afloat. We need this money to put us in the best position to get in the players, or to get in the new manager, or to get in whatever we need in order to rebuild and get back to where we are supposed to be. But I'm not seeing anything from the club that is telling me that these boys and then the coach and then the whole club in its entirety are looking forward to this final or feel like there's a chance for them to cause an upset. On the other hand, Man City are doing what they're supposed to do, even though this season's Man City have not been the best Man City as compared to their previous iterations. Players like Doku have come in into a good bit of form in the last part of the season. Semenyo just recently got a goal that will build his confidence back up. Haaland has been scoring a bit. So across both teams, Manchester City have the firepower. They have the deeper squad. Chelsea have a deep squad, but as to the quality of the depth, that is something to be debated about. But Man City seems to have everything on their side, and I would be shocked if Man City do not win and win convincingly. I don't think it's going to be a particularly competitive game. I think if Man City bring their A game, it will be one of those games that they wrap up in the first half, like they win 2-0, and then Chelsea don't really cause a lot of problems and they just play out the rest of the game. Kwegu?
Where do you see this going? Chelsea could win. They could win, or they're getting into their third, final. In less than 12 months. They've won 2 already. Yes.
They won 2 of them, right?
Yes, and now they
won the Conference League, and then they won the Club World Cup as well. But that's the thing with Chelsea in finals, right? You would say the big difference is that Maresca is no longer there.
Isn't it that we've written Chelsea so much off?
That's how I'm thinking about it.
In the last 12 months, they've made trophies.
They have actually won trophies. Not the trophies that matter though, but they've won it. When you put it in front of them, they found a way to win it. And I quite remember...
The trophies do matter. The trophies do matter. They the Conference League made them, complete what no club has ever done.
Right.
And they won the Club World Cup to top it all up. Yeah.
Right. So that's why I'm very cautious about predicting this Chelsea-Man City final, because a year ago, I was running my mouth that PSG were going to dismantle Chelsea. But I had seen Chelsea play live 2 times at the Club World Cup. I was in Philadelphia. I watched that game. I watched 2 games of Chelsea against Palmeiras and one against, was it without Casablanca at the time. So I saw Chelsea play and I wasn't convinced. But in the final, they turned up and it was a different game altogether. I still have my doubt about, the final being replayed and Chelsea winning again, because I strongly believe that if circumstances were different, PSG would have won that final. Sue me if you don't agree with me, but Chelsea are a different beast in the final. They're a different beast, and now they have every single player ready and available. Most importantly, they have Reece James available. I used to say that whenever Chelsea had a big game and they played with Reece James and Caicedo in the middle, it's a different ball game altogether. It's a different mentality. It's a different beast. It's a different ball game altogether. And under Maresca, you can go back and cross-check. Whenever they had a big game and they went on to play with Caicedo and Reece James in the middle, they were so hard to beat. They were so hard to beat. So I think McFarlane should find a way to motivate these players. Tell them, listen, we've had a very horrible season. We started well and then we slummed. There's a chance to end on a high note. We can get back into Europe with this competition. We can win a trophy as well to crown our efforts for the season. This is our last chance. Let's give it a shot. And a lot would rest on the shoulders of Reece James as well. He's a captain. He's a leader of the group. And thankfully, there's no player bigger than him in the group. So he should be able to rally his team around. And I think with the right mentality, Chelsea could go on to really challenge Man City. When you think about the lineup, I don't think Man City will surprise us. They made 5 changes in the midweek. They brought in Omar Mamouche. They dropped Haaland. They dropped Nico Riley. They dropped Cherki. So I really think that for the final, I mean, if you close your eyes, you could mention at least 10 players who would start for Man City. Of course, do you think it's going to be Trafford or it's going to be Donnarumma? I think it's going to go with Trafford. If Trafford has been the one in post throughout the FA Cup, I think he might be the one in post. But other than that, I think right back would be Mateus Nunes. Left back would still going to be Nico Riley. Centre back would maintain the Kuzanov Gehi partnership. Although Ruben Diaz is back, Nathan Ake is back, Josko Guardiola is back. But that brings me to this. Wouldn't Roberto Martinez be scratching his head about his first choice centre back, Ruben Diaz? Because this second half of the season, he's basically spent his time enjoying Maya Jama, his girlfriend. That's basically what he's done the entire.
He hasn't been any good. He hasn't been any good too. So he raises lots of questions about how he's going to be good at the
lead
World
the
Cup
line
for
Portugal, right? So that's interesting. But in midfield, I think it's going to be Bernardo Silva. This is his farewell game. He would like to win the FA Cup and say a goodbye to the club. I think Guardiola as well. Chelsea need to find motivation because Guardiola will find motivation. Guardiola will tell them, this is my last final I'm playing. Win this for me. Let's say goodbye. They have a lot of reasons to go out and win. Semenyo's first senior trophy. He would want to go out and win. Maguire won it last year. He has that in him. This is going to be Semenyo's second.
Did he not play there?
Yeah, Carabao
Cup.
Ben
he was playing for Man City when.
Sorry. Sorry. So his second, right?
Yeah.
But his first FA Cup, right? And
yep.
Maguire as well is going to. I think Crystal Palace won the FA Cup last year, didn't they?
Yep, they did.
Right. So he has that in him as well. So it's going to be interesting. They have a lot of motivation and they have the momentum on their side. But I think Reece James needs to rally the boys around. He needs to put them in a room and say, listen, people think they're going to steamroll past us. Let's show them that we can do it. And I strongly believe that they can do it. I always say one thing, reduce the game to duels and you stand a good chance of winning the game. Although the pitch is not the Stamford Bridge compact pitch, but find a way to win. Just find it doesn't have to be pretty, just find a way to win. Let's not forget that McFarlane's game against I think that was his first game, right? Against Man City at the Etihad. They found a last gasp equalizer. I think, was it Enzo that scored to draw the game 1-1 for them? So they have that dog in them. They can prove something on the final day. I'll refrain from predicting. I'd like to just analyze both sides and see the strengths that each carry. And the Chelsea fans who are close to me know why I refrain from predicting. I've been shamed big time by Chelsea when I put everything on the line for PSG to beat them. And so I've respected myself now.
your oracleness is not
so
given.
if I pin you to the wall?
If I'll pin call.
He's not the oracle. His third eye is not given.
Oracle, give us. Oracle.
What's the oracle saying?
The oracle says that it's a Man City win.
It's a City win.
It's a City win.
Calvin, but what do you think?
Well, I think that, City in 90 minutes are so strong. They'll be overly stronger than Chelsea. And they've found, the men to show up at the latter part of the season. And that is what I always say about, championship winning sides or teams that win trophies. Look at Jeremy Doku, out of nowhere, a very wasteful Doku who scored just about 3 goals in 3 years.
And he can't miss now.
Exactly. Now he's the most dangerous City player when he
because
turns on the bike.
Because he came to Ghana to see Otunfo. Otunfo blessed him.
Well, yes, he's been blessed. That's true. That's true. And Chelsea's 13-game winless run against Manchester City is the longest, against a single opponent. 17 without a victory against, Arsenal, and then Arsenal. That was between the 90s, 99 and 2004. But this is getting closer. 13 games. They haven't won against Manchester City, and it clearly, gives you an indication that yes, City would want to use this also as a precursor to the Bournemouth game, because they need to finish the season on a high, keep pushing Arsenal, to the wall to see. And I think that having already overcome Arsenal in the EFL Cup final, City could make it, the sixth instance of a team winning both major English Cup competitions. For the first time, they did the first time since 2018, 2019, and they could do it again. Liverpool managed to do that in 2021, 2022, but I think Guardiola's side have a good team, better than Chelsea, to do this. But you always leave room for Chelsea when it comes to finals. This will be Chelsea's 17th FA Cup final, and the third most after Manchester United and Arsenal, winning 8 and losing 8 of them. So it's balanced. McFarlane may try get something strange that no coach has ever been able to do this with this Chelsea team. And they know that, yes, winning this final could boost their chances. Enzo Fernandez has a lot to be talked about because in the FA Cup, he's had, 6 goals in 9. He's been involved in 6 goals, 4 goals, 2 assists. And, gives you a major boost, especially with his fitness. But at every point in time, the man who is handling Manchester City is too much for Stuart McFarlane. And I think that Chelsea would suffer a loss this time around. I think Manchester City have the edge, and especially with Jeremy Doku, going clear at the top. 3 goals, 5 assists, in the FA Cup this season. And it's not just the Premier League that he's performing. He's clearly done it, and he knows how to do it this time around. I think at the Wembley, it's not like Chelsea are playing at the Bridge. Even when they played at the Bridge, they lost 3 goals to 0. So there's no way, there's no escape for them. They snatched a 1-0 draw at the Etihad, but I think City will be, too hot for them to handle. Now to the most interesting part.
Too hot to handle reminds me of a show. It reminds me of a show I used to watch on Netflix. Too Hot to Handle. Mm-hmm. Very interesting show. Maybe one day we will talk about it and the link to sports as well.
Kelvin. Yeah. You see what your man has been watching.
I know.
Mangana recommended the show.
Because he has the friend to do whatever he wants.
Friend?
Because he has the certificate to do whatever he wants.
Recommended by Mangana. You saw the story Mangana brought today. The third leg story. Nobody on earth can get that story except Mangana.
Oh,
Chairman, come
on.
It's
now time for us to move away from that. And the PFA has dropped nominations. Declan Rice, Bruno Fernandes, Erling Haaland, Gabriel Magalhaes of Arsenal, Igor Thiago Brentford, Morgan Gibbs-White from Nottingham Forest, David Raya from Arsenal, and Antoine Semenyo from Manchester City. These are the players who have been nominated. And talking about these players, yes, one of them would be crowned PFA Player of the Season. Now, you would have to justify why these players or any of these players should be Player of the Season. But I will start. I won't let you guys start. I'll start. I choose Igor Thiago.
You see why I respect you and I rate you so much.
I choose Igor Thiago. I look at Brentford when they lost their manager in Thomas Frank, whom everyone thought Brentford, and their survival and their performance hinged on him. When they lost Norgard to Arsenal, when they lost Ivan Toney, when they lost Brian Buemo, João Wissa, not many were expecting them, and they lost one of their defenders, very important defender.
Yeah,
and they lost. Not many expected them to actually live up to the billing this season, to the point that they are close to qualifying for Europe. and it has taken Igor Thiago. This is his first season. This isn't his second season in the Premier League that you think that, no, this is his first season in the Premier League. And for him to hit 22 goals, it's incredible. It's incredible. And he's single-handedly, for me, he has pushed Brentford up this table. You know, it clearly gives me an indication that no other single player, and look at the players he's playing with. They are not players of that, you know, huge magnitude like Manchester City will have Bernardo Silva, Arsenal will have Odegaard, Manchester United will have Bruno Fernandes around to be serving him with the passes that he needs. And he's been delivering every single time. 22 goals this season. And it's amazing. And I think that in total, he scored 25. But in the Premier League, where our focus is, he scored 22. Chasing Erling Haaland for the top scorer. It could happen. It may not happen because Haaland is far gone. But I think that when it comes to impact, when it comes to performance, I think Igor Thiago should be crowned PFA Player of the Season 2020.
That's a good shout. That's a good shout.
No, and I respect that a lot, especially coming from an Arsenal fan. The bulk of Arsenal fans would go a certain direction. I don't want to go in that direction. Although it's my favorite side whenever I'm eating, but I don't want to go in that direction to talk about it. And I really respect Kelvin's candidness, you know, saying, you know what, I'm an Arsenal fan, but truly my most impressive performer of the season has been Igor Thiago. And I respect that a lot. I think Kelvin said this about a month ago and he's stuck to it. I've always maintained Antoine Semenyo has been my most impressive performer of the season. What he's done so far has been amazing. Unfortunately, in the last couple of weeks, he's gone very, very, very cold. Unfortunately, he's gone off the radar. He hasn't scored. I think he scored his first goal in so many matches yesterday. Yeah. And so it's quite unfortunate, but honestly, he's been my most impressive performer. He stood out head and shoulders above everyone in the first round. Even in the early part of the second round of the season, he still stood head and shoulders above everyone. But unfortunately, oftentimes, people forget what happens in September. People forget what happens in October, November, and even December. And it's a natural human phenomenon. People remember the most recent things. And so people will cast their mind back and just remember from January till now, and even might not even remember January. But let's not forget that he's one of the reasons why the Man City season or Man City ship turned around. He came into the club together with McGehee, and they turned everything around. They fought, played so well, brought the team from 9 points behind Arsenal to level on points, and unfortunately, they let it slip away in the last 2 games. So, for me, it's Antoine Semenyo. He's had a stellar season, a season that got him a move in January. It takes a lot for a club like Man City to spend so much on a Bournemouth player, and that player walks into the club and starts. It doesn't happen. It really doesn't happen for a player from Bournemouth to move to Man City and be an outright starter. Some of us even thought he wouldn't even be a starter. But surprisingly, he went there and he's been a starter. So I really respect that for him. The number of goals he scored is the 3rd top goal scorer this season. Had it not been for the fact that he's been cold in the last couple of games, you probably could have usurped Igor Thiago or Erling Haaland when he wasn't scoring. But I really respect that, the impact he's had at both clubs. Let's not forget he played for Bournemouth and he played for Man City. And honestly, is it by votes? The PFA, is it by votes?
So they have the PFA Player of the Year.
Right.
That is voted for by the players.
The players, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
This is the Premier League Player of the Season.
Right,
the EA Sports, because
EA Sports. And is it voted for by fans or is it selected by a technical committee?
So I think there's a percentage voted by fans. So that voting is ongoing.
Right. And
then 10% of the vote is voted by fans, and then the 90% is distributed in many ways to determine who the winner will be.
Okay. I was going to say, if it were simply down to fans and to even if it were like a player's player of the year of some sort, you really should galvanize his votes, right? Talk to your Bournemouth boys. Listen, guys, I was with you. We fought together. We were second on the log at some point, although we lost the entire back line and key players in our squad. He could galvanize those boys. And he could also galvanize his Man City boys as well. especially with his little prayer group that he's formed with McGahey and Jeremy Doku. They could really campaign and get him the votes, right? He's been an amazing performer. I've always said it, and he said it in his interview. He said, "Listen, growing up, I was never on the books of England. I wasn't even on their radar." He was let go from clubs several times. In fact, he quit football for 2 years to focus on his studies, and he got his breakthrough, right? So I'm very happy for him. He's had a stellar season. Unequivocally, he's been my standout player of the season, and I think he should win the award.
Also a very good shout.
Nah, sorry, on you.
Look, all the players that have been nominated, all the players that have been nominated have been very good this season. Morgan Gibbs-White has been good, especially leading Nottingham Forest out of relegation and then putting them like in a very decent spot several games to go to the season. And they also performed well in Europe as well. Gabriel has been a stalwart in defense. Raya has been exceptional. Declan Rice has been steady. Antoine Semenyo has been absolutely brilliant, playing for both teams. Igor Thiago, exceptional performance for your first season. Haaland doing Haaland, scoring the goals that he needs to score. Even though he hasn't been as good this season, he's still got the goals that he needs to get. But when it comes to the player of the season, the most outstanding player is none other than Bruno Miguel Borges Fernandes. And it is not even supposed to be a debate. I always see a lot of Arsenal fans talk about, Declan Rice and Gabriel. And I'm like, yes, they've had good seasons. But the reason why Bruno is the player of the season for me is not just from the eye test of how he plays. We're all aware when the season started and Amorim had him playing in a two-man midfield, sometimes playing a 6 or an 8. He never groaned, performed on the pitch still. When he was moved into his favorite position, you saw the production. That is a player that is impactful. Now, when you come to the numbers, 19 assists is nothing to pull your nose up at. There has only been 2 other players that have got more assists in a season in the Premier League than Bruno Fernandes, and that is Henry in the season that he got 20 goals, 20 assists. What's his name? Kevin De Bruyne, who also matched that 20 assists. And Bruno is still playing with 2 games to go and only 1 assist shy of meeting that record. Outside of the 19 assists that he's produced and the 8 goals that he scored, when you go into the advanced analytics, and that is what I think people don't even delve into. They just look at, goals and assists. When you go into the advanced analytics, the most chances created this season by any player, even in the top 5 leagues, Bruno Fernandes, 124 chances. Most chances created, people also like to talk about, he only created 10 open play chances or so. But only 10 open play assists. But most chances created from open play, Bruno Fernandes in the Premier League, 88. Most big chances created, 30, Bruno Fernandes. Most big chances created in open play, 24, Bruno Fernandes. Most assists, Bruno Fernandes. Most through balls completed, Bruno Fernandes. So everything in the attacking sense, everything within the position that he plays, he leads in every category. The only reason why you don't see him at top of open play assists is because the players that he keeps creating the chances for have decided that they're not going to score. If Bruno had Igor Thiago playing for him or Haaland playing for him, Haaland and Igor Thiago would be 30, 40, 50 goals this season. Because the amount of chances that he creates, the amount of opportunities that he puts forth for the players around him, and with as terrible as United are playing in front of goal and scoring goals, he still managed to create so many chances that United, from the 15th they were last season, are going to finish third this season. That is the impact of the player. And if you take out Bruno, anybody who's watched Manchester United play, you know when Bruno is not playing, they can barely string passes together. He is the most impactful player in the season, in the league, and in Manchester United. And nobody can take that away from him. People like to say that he whines and moans a lot, and that is what they like to detract from him. But nothing can detract from the impact that he has on the game. Every time United play football, every time United win a game, every time United dominate or perform well on the pitch, there's only one common denominator, and it's Bruno Fernandes. And the impact that he has on the season for Manchester United and in the league, from the assists, from the goals, and from the chances created and all of that, there is no one that comes anywhere close. For the chances created, the next best player is on about 66 chances. He has created almost twice as many chances. So there's no one that comes close to Bruno Fernandes in any way, shape, or form. And this should have been a foregone conclusion. Even before the season came to the last 2 games. I don't even know why people argue it. And it's because of all of these reasons that Bruno Fernandes should win the Player of the Season. And he's already won the Football Writers Player of the Season. And he should win the PFA Player of the Season. That is my case.
I think Kelvin, it's interesting. I think we split opinion here. You're going for Igor Thiago. Mangana is going for Bruno. Mangana, please say it. I like your accent. Say it again. Bruno what?
I said it's Bruno Miguel Borges Fernandes. We didn't come to play.
Fernandes is the Fernandes for me.
Anyway, do not try us.
And then for us, I mean, for me, it's been Antoine Semenyo, not because of my Ghana bias, but he's been simply amazing. He's been simply amazing. So I think the rest is for the 50-50 football fans, the 50-50 football podcast aficionados. They need to tell us they need to determine who really who really has been the standout performer of the season in the English Premier League. There's, we started something.
Manager of the season, Keith Andrews,
yes, that's what I was bringing.
Mikel Arteta, Michael Carrick, Pep Guardiola, Andoni Iraola, Reggie Lebris from Sunderland.
Sunderland, yeah.
And my first question is: must they pick 6 managers? Is it a must to pick 6 managers?
Because the decision is made by a panel and then votes of fans and the media. So
and I mean, if you look at the 6 managers, there's a case to be made for the impact that they've had on the teams that they coached.
I mean, I don't think Michael Carrick has any business being up there.
No,
I'm a Man U fan. I think he's done well, but I don't think he has any business.
What is he doing there? What is he doing there?
And it's not fair on the other coaches because they have been there for the entire 38 weeks and they've done so well.
But I mean, if you ask me to vote, I would always say Michael Carrick is going to be the last amongst all of them.
100%. He shouldn't be there in the first place. I don't think
he's going to be the last.
Being up there.
He doesn't get past Keith Andrews. He doesn't get past Reggie Lebris. He doesn't get past Andoni Iraola. He doesn't get past Pep Guardiola or Mikel Arteta. Yeah.
Exactly. And if they must pick 6 people, I think there are other managers in the Premier League they could select easily to replace Michael Carrick even there. Again, I said if they must pick 6 people.
Oh yeah, and I'm asking.
I don't think they must pick 6 people. If you are nominating, you could easily nominate 5.
But I'm saying, who would you have put if they were 6? Who would you have put?
You see, it would take us into a different, argument. The argument to select is to select the manager of the season.
I'm not going to debate you on that.
I just want to know.
Let's not get into it. It's going to spark another debate. And I'm saying Michael Carrick doesn't have any business there, and I stand on it. But for me, I think I mentioned it, and I think we're all in agreement for that. We all said it should be Keith Andrews for what he's done at Brentford. And for me, it's between Keith Andrews and Andoni Iraola. I'm actually changing
100%. my stance. I'm going with Andoni Iraola.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm going with Andoni Iraola.
Andoni Iraola was my nominee when we had this conversation, and I think Kelvin was Keith Andrews. And Anasa, I don't remember your nominee at the time, but Andoni was my nominee. However, looking at the kind of job Keith Andrews has done, especially his background, where he's come from, and taking this big job, 100% Keith Andrews for me.
Yeah,
100% Keith Andrews. Yeah,
I'm for Andoni mostly because I like the way his Bournemouth team plays. Like, this is a team who also lost a few of their players as well.
A few? They lost their entire back line. They lost also their right winger. They lost Ouattara Dango.
Halfway through the season.
And they lost Semenyo.
And they still played a very good brand of football, attacking, counter-pressing. Like, you could see that this is a coach who has whipped his players into playing the way he wants to play. And there's something to be said for managers who can lose some of their best players and still get their team playing in the same manner. That is why I always find it difficult when somebody says, "Oh, this player is not doing well because they changed the manager." When they change the manager, did they change how you control football? Do they change how you shoot? The basics should still be done. Once the manager is there and he has his tactics, as long as you are a football player, certain things need to be principles that you play by. You need to still run. You need to still tackle. You need to still play within the flow of the offense. And Andoni Raiola has done that with his Bournemouth side, even though they had a dip sometime to the season where they were just like drawing and losing, but he's rallied and are they not eligible for a European position?
No, they are.
Yeah,
they should be,
eligible
right?
for a European position. Yeah, they're eligible for a European position.
They should be.
He's been absolutely fantastic as a manager. And I think he lost more players than Keith Andrews lost.
Keith Andrews lost his goals. He lost the goal machines, the 2 goal machines of his team. He lost Johan Wissa and he lost Brian Mbomo, which is huge.
And this one lost his defense.
Let's not forget he also lost Ben Mee. And Ben Mee was...
I think he's retired now, right?
Yeah, he left. He left Brentford as well. And then even in defense, he lost one more person. I'm blanking out on who it is, but he lost one more person in defense as well. So, and then he lost Christian Norgard from midfield. So his midfield general also left us. So he lost quite a good number of players.
Yeah.
And then they lost their manager.
Yes.
And then they lost their manager.
Well, I think in this
flying
case,
high. They've been
I think
flying
in this case,
high.
they rather gain the manager.
No, I mean, listen. Let's not discount the work.
No, I'm not discounting the work Thomas Frank did. I'm just saying, considering where both managers have gone.
Let's not discount the work Thomas Frank.
I'm not discounting his work. I'm saying, considering where both managers have gone.
But when you make a statement, when you make a statement like they've gained the managers,
they've gained the manager because
they didn't
him going
have one
to
and
Spurs,
they gained one, right?
No, him going to Spurs and then essentially
it
is the juxtaposition of him going to Spurs, not his performance at Bournemouth at Brentford.
So they lost their manager, right? They lost their manager. Let's keep it at that because it takes us into a different direction. But Kelvin, in the last few minutes, Mbappe's quotes, I'm not sure if you've seen them. Mbappe's interview in the mix zone is out now, and first thing he said was he doesn't watch Arbeloa's press conferences. At home, he watches French TV and not Spanish TV. And then he goes on to say that Arbeloa told him that he's the 4th striker now. He said he was ready and he was fit and ready to play the Clásico. And Arbeloa told him that Kylian Mbappé is the 4th striker now, and he's behind Vini Jr., Gonzalo, and Mastantuono. Big statements coming from him. It's interesting. I don't know what to make of this. Kylian Mbappé just made this. I think it's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. It's not a good look at all. Arbeloa responded and said, as long as he's in the chair and he's the manager, he's the only one that decides who plays. He doesn't care what their names are. If they like it, fine. If they like it, no.
I think it's
interesting.
This is exactly the problem with an interim manager. The manager knows he's not staying. He's not fighting for a job or anything. So yeah, if you are not respecting me, I also disrespect you. And the player knows that you're also not going to be here for long. So they are just essentially throwing mud at each other. And that is the problem when you have an interim coach and someone who doesn't have that presence to be able to control the dressing room, especially a dressing room like Madrid.
I agree with the second part. The second part is the players, basically doing whatever they like because they know that the decision on their long-term future doesn't lie with it doesn't lie with Arbeloa. With Arbeloa or the interim manager. However, usually the interim managers are fighting for a job. In as much as sometimes they are told that they wouldn't be given that substantive job, they're still fighting for a future job.
I'm sure Florentino, that is if we think Arbeloa wants to even coach.
Arbeloa wants to be a coach. He was a coach. He was a coach of the Castilla before he was moved up. Right. So he wants to be a coach. He wants to be a manager. But unfortunately, this is not a good look at all. I'm not sure the conversations that have been had between Arbeloa and the group and particularly Kylian Mbappé. It looks as though this Arbeloa is on the Vini Jr. side of things and Kylian Mbappé is essentially on the other side. And I think together they are a force to reckon with and they should find ways to reconcile and, get together. I think both of them playing well and playing together for Real Madrid could lead them to trophies for years.
But you guys all know where this is going to end.
It's going to end with Abeloa. Abeloa is going. He is on his way out.
Abeloa will go, and then the rest of the team will come back together next season.
Hopefully, Jose Mourinho does his magic and finds a way to bring all of them together.
We can't end with Mourinho. This podcast is not about Mourinho. It's not about Mourinho.
The rest of the team will be very much aligned. Yes, the rest of the team. At the under 17 too, we are seeing some grown players. So, but you talk about that one later.
I saw some pictures. Who is the Eric Gentry boy? The left foot at the number 10.
Yeah, he
plays number 10. I think he wears 8, right?
Yeah, he's formerly of CAS.
Listen, we should do everything possible to preserve that talent. And you know what breaks my heart? I saw Clifford Abuaje. Clifford Abuaje was Ghana's Ozil. He played like Mesut Ozil at the time. And unfortunately, he never made it, at the senior level. He ended up playing in Mexico and in other places. I think primarily due to his size, himself and even Yayebo as well. And I really hope that this Eric Gentry boy makes it, because what a player. What an app. Amangana, remember your first touch comment?
Yeah.
Go and look at that boy's first touch.
I'm actually watching his goal from halfway.
My goodness.
Right now.
And he has that Ishahaku strike in him too.
Yeah.
So I think it's amazing. But Calvin, before we wrap up, remember we're building our PFA team of the year.
Yeah.
We put Raya in post, right? But we said we're going to go with Jurian Timber, who I think should be in the PFA nominees list ahead of, in the PFA Player of the Year nominees list, the 6 players nominated for the top award. I think he should be in there instead
ahead of who?
Declan Rice, 100%. I don't think Declan Rice is even the best player at us now. But, that's another conversation.
We're not going to debate this one.
I don't know. KBB.
I have nothing to say. I've made my case for my nominees, so that is all I'll say about that.
Kelvin is pleading the 5th. And then right back, I think we went with Jurian Timber. Centre back, we went with the Saliba Gabriel.
Yeah.
Left back, however, if my memory serves me right, did we go with Nico Riley?
I don't remember.
It was between Nico Riley, Truffert, and...
let's go with Truffert.
Kelvin, what do you think?
He takes it. Yeah, he takes it.
Truffert ahead of Nico Riley.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we got to central midfield and we took a pause. But we have two games to end. I think we can wrap up our team of the season. Then ask
we can do that.
50-50 football podcast aficionados to, vote on our team and tell us whether we were right or whether they agree with us or not. Maybe Mangana, you can go first. You can build your midfield depending on whatever system you want to play. But remember, we've already started with the back 4.
Yeah. I'll go with the midfield 3.
Right. I know the first name, but go on.
That will be the last name because that is the most advanced position. I'll start with the 2 sitting midfielders.
Okay, I want to play with 2 sitters. Interesting. Okay, let's see.
Yeah. So I'll take Declan Rice.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, you can scoff, but unfortunately, in as much as he has not wowed, he's been consistent. And there's something to be said for consistency. As to who to play next to him, Calvin, who do you think has done so well this season to play next to Declan Rice?
I know my team easily. If you are now contemplating, I can mention my 3 midfielders easily right now.
The attacking midfielder is Bruno Fernandes. That one, there's a foregone conclusion.
So can I mention my team, my midfield 3?
Mention your midfield.
Easily, I'm going with Sandro Tonali, I'm going with Casemiro, and I'm going with Bruno Fernandes. And that's my midfield 3. My attack is going to be Igor Thiago, Erling Haaland, and Antoine Semenyo. That's my team of the year.
Calvin, who's your midfield 3?
I won't go for 3. I'll go for 2.
Who's your midfield 2? So are you going 4-4-2?
Yeah, okay, let's say 3. Casemiro, Declan Rice, Bruno Fernandes.
And then the front 3?
Obviously, Haaland will be there. Igor Thiago, Antoine Semenyo.
All right.
It seems as though we agree with a couple of players. I think the asterisk is on there.
Yep. The 10th midfielder was definitely Casemiro. I was going to mention him, but I wanted to see if you were going to go there first before you come and cite United.
Why weren't you confident in your own choices?
I was quite confident. I wanted you to come in there United by us. But
no, Casemiro has been absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And we talk about consistency, and then people forget to mention Sandro Tonali as well. So I think it's interesting. For me, it's Sandro Tonali together with Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes. Some players started really well, but they fell off. Caicedo, for instance, started so well.
Yeah.
Another player that started so well was the Chelsea left back, Kurela. He started so well until Chelsea decided to essentially capitulate as a club. So honorable mentions to both of them. But I think for the attack, looks like we are all in agreement, right? Or Mangana, you want to bring someone else in?
Oh, I was actually thinking of someone as a third, but they've not done enough. Like Haaland's goals takes him in there.
So Haaland, Ego Thiago, Antoine
Semenyo, yeah.
That's an easy pick for us, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think
that's interesting. So hard predictions for the FA Cup. I plead the fifth. I can't predict, but both of you seem to be going for Man City, which look to be the easy prediction. I think don't discount Chelsea. Anything could happen, right? Anything
Man
could
City
happen.
2, Chelsea 1.
Ooh. Hey, listen, stick your liver on it.
My liver is already shot.
Man 99.
Oh, guys, yes. It's been a wonderful one. And that's, full time on this week's 50-50 Football Podcast episode, FA Cup Final. We've given you our call. Perez and Mbappé, we've unpacked the mess. And the PFA nominations, our verdicts are in. Whether you agree with us or not, that's the beauty of football. It's always 50-50. Before you go, if you've been listening and you've got something to say, what you do is, we want to hear you, who is your PFA Player of the Year, who went at Wembley. Drop us a message, slide into our DMs, leave a comment wherever you found this show. Talk to us there. And if this episode gave you something, take to argue with, a name to look up to, a conversation to start, just do us a favor. Share it with one person, and that's how 50-50 Football Podcast grows. One listener at a time, one subscriber at a time. Rate us, subscribe, and tell a friend who cares too much about football. You know the one. Yes, I know the one. Next week, we'll be back. Same split, same honesty, same energy, and whether Cristiano Ronaldo will be a champion, we'll get to know. Myself, Kelvin Owusu and Sakokusa Fomenta, Man Ghana Man 99. Sorry, we're your hosts, and this has been the 50-50 Football Podcast. Stay on the ball and keep it 50-50 every single time.